This story begins as it is fated to end, with hatred plunged through the chest of a god.
It's about me killing the god that I was made to kill.
You are my downfall.
I'll fix the problem.
Huh?
I'll make you dead.
What? Which limb do you take from them first?
Oh my god.
I am Litany, daughter of Queen Sigu, the first fallen, Lord of Death. Kill or be killed.
That's an overkill.
Oh, that's an 11.
13. That's a overkill. That's an overkill. You lose yourself to righteous fury.
Just get out of the way.
Our people must be strong.
Why am I like this? I am made of you.
This is my becoming.
This is my becoming.
What's the matter?
Let me fix that. It's smudged. Here.
Those cracks are sealing up. They were never meant to be opened.
As she strains away from vengeance and hatred and fury and toward love.
And I would like to wield a power. Not my own. Theirs. And I will use it against them.
Litany, would you like to kill a god?
I'm gonna scream! Oh, hold on. They can't hear you again. Which is so funny because I was just screaming by myself. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I love you too. Now that that's all out of the way, let me get you open on. Say something? Yeah, that absolutely you were that entire time, yeah. Yep.
That is messed up. Oh, wow. Connie has been silenced? Silence? See? Silencing? Anyway, welcome one and all to Last Hope Week. Blah, 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 blah. You can actually do my horns. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so much for joining us to celebrate 5 years, that's half a decade, of Transplanter RPG with this very special mega rerun. No matter if you are tuning in for the first or 5-yearth, 100th time, we are Transplanter RPG. An all transgender, people of color led, dark fantasy actual play channel telling stories set in an original non-colonial anti-orientalist multiverse. This means that we stand against genocide and ethnic cleansing and support all oppressed peoples of this world struggling against injustice, imperialism, and colonization. We must use our voices to build solidarity and fight for the worlds that we wish to see. So to that end, free Sudan, free DRC, free Palestine, abolish ICE, fuck the police, and free all oppressed peoples of this world.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Unapologetically and with joy and love and radical revolution in my heart. Thank you all so much for showing up to support our story. If you're watching this right now, you are here for the finale of our series rerun of Godkiller Last Hope with episodes 7 and 8. Oh my goodness. We have made it to the end, Transplanters, but first, please allow me to reintroduce my fantumgulumptious, incredible, beautifulicious co-host for this evening, C. Thomas.
Nobody made you do this bit, but I like that you insist on doing it every time we have a rerun. Hi everyone, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm so happy, proud, excited, and super psyched and somewhat apologetic to be here tonight. I'm so psyched for this. I apologize in advance for what I will do and the crimes I will commit upon our hearts, minds, bodies, and souls. But also, no, I'm not. Fuck the police. I also think
Godkiller out of the chair. What crimes will they commit?
What crimes will I commit? Finale crimes. That's what. I also think technically, we're celebrating it tomorrow, but I think technically the 27th of June, today, is the official 5-year anniversary of Transplanter RPG.
Yes.
We're celebrating it tomorrow, but
Yes,
I think it's
actually
today.
it is actually tonight because it was June 27th, Saturday, June 27th, 2020, where we debuted on Twitch. That's right. So today is technically the 5-year anniversary.
Everyone say happy birthday, Transplanter
Yes,
RPG!
everyone say happy birthday in chat. Can you believe our channel is 5 years old? That's like an entire toddler. Like our channel can speak and walk and formulate thoughts and is in preschool. Right? Like preschool is going into elementary school soon. That's wild to think about.
Connie's I see the crisis
I know.
happening like in your eyes. I can see,
I'm like
I can
having
see
a moment.
it.
Oh my god, wow. Oh, we were but little babies when we first made Transplanter.
It's true.
Now we're slightly larger babies.
That's how I feel, actually.
Yeah, literally same. Well, this week we have truly the absolute pleasure and honor of raising funds for Care for Gaza, which is an on-the-ground organization in Gaza that delivers urgently necessary aid to Palestinians who are currently surviving a genocide. We had a massive donation come through last night, like truly wild, which has rocketed us up to $1,000 donated total so far for this week. Woo! Thank you all so much to everyone who has donated. It truly means so much to us and our values. And we will be upping our goal during tomorrow's special playtest stream with donation matches and giveaways. I guess I have a very exciting donation match to announce tomorrow. But in the meantime, you can help us and the people of Gaza do a victory lap by using !donate in the Twitch chat. If you're in the YouTube live, our donation link is pinned to the top of chat. And any extra progress we make past 1,000, I'm just treating that as like, again, as that victory lap. That's those extra laurels on top. We've already smashed our goal of 1K. That's huge, but I know we can do even more for the final week of our channelversary.
Yes, yes, yes! Don't make me get Austin in here because I will. Anyway. Are you ready to cry? Are you ready to backslide? Because this week we are marathoning Godkiller Last Hope from start to finish, and we have made it to finish. Tonight we restreamed the series finale with Godkiller Last Hope episodes 7 and 8. While we won't be making commentary on stream tonight, we will be sobbing uncontrollably in the chat with all of you. So get comfortable, get your bingo cards, and enjoy our penultimate and finale.
Oh my
episode
god, I know.
Of Last Hope. Again. Yeah. Like, again.
All right. I'm like not really
You're really
ready
feeling
to
the
rewatch
passage
this.
of time tonight is, I feel it's haunting you, haunting the narrative.
It is. It's haunting like sing. Well, speaking of ways to enjoy the series finale. Oh, before I get to that though, thank you yet again, Gail, for a donation. Another donation came in. Thank you so much. We are currently at $1,042. Can we get to like 1050? I bet we can. That's $8 more. We can get to 1050 by episode 1. I'm sure we can. And then 1100 by episode 2, I believe. I believe in us. I believe in
1069. 1069.
1069. 1069, you know, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy for
10
this.
420. I don't know. Let's have fun.
10 420, $10,000 and 400. Well, if there's any extremely rich people out there. Well, anyway, speaking of ways to enjoy the series finale, some self-care tips, as per what Sam Starr would say. Godkiller Last Hope is a dark fantasy actual play series that deals with content that may be triggering to some viewers. So content warnings for this rerun of our last 2 episodes may include fantasy violence, death and killing, war, trauma, grief, interpersonal conflict, familial conflict, blood, imprisonment, familial conflict with physical confrontation, death of loved ones. That's a big one. And brief mentions of a suicide mission and spitting. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can use !CW at any time to get these content warnings. And if you're in the YouTube live, I will be posting these into the chat as we ease into episode 7.
They're also on the VOD.
They are also on the VOD. So at the beginning of the VOD, when we run the rerun, we'll also reiterate these CWs. All right. It's time.
It's like if we don't press play, it doesn't happen.
I know, it won't happen. It won't happen. Right? We could just reenact episodes 7 and 8 from memory.
It'll end right there. You know?
Yeah, right before bad things happen.
Right What bad things happen? Everyone lived happily ever after, because that's the point of telling stories, right?
Yeah. All right. We love
Okay.
you all.
Good luck.
See you in episode 7.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to GODKILLER Last Hope. My name is Zoe Williams, and as the dramaturg for this production, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the viciously divine world of The Cradle. Last Hope is a dark fantasy series that deals with heavy topics, and content warnings will be shared before the show begins. Last Hope is performed live and in studio by Connie Chong and C. Thomas. Previously on GODKILLER Last Hope, Tian Sheng and Prince Wu get captured by General Zhong. Litany goes to Rui, offering to scout ahead of the rebels and free the 2 captives. They summon a Dao Shou and lay a ghostly siege upon the capital of Jwin, diverging from their purpose given to them by Queen Tigu. At the royal palace, Litany kills General Zhong and is ushered into the throne room to meet King Wu himself. A full recap of this and previous episodes can be found at transplanerrpg.com. And now, the game begins.
GODKILLER Last Hope is a dark fantasy actual play series that deals with serious and potentially triggering topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, death and killing, war, trauma, grief, interpersonal conflict, familial conflict, blood, and imprisonment.
Litany, you enter a throne room. No, not a throne room. You, child of the underworld, grew up in the Hall of Stolen Chance. You, ordained God-killer, attempted to steal the life of the Emperor herself in the Hall of Peerless Destiny. This is not a throne room. You know what a throne room is, what it should be. The timbre of it, the sound of it, the magic of it. This is a man playing God. This is a toy box. This is a simulacrum, and a poor one at that. At the end of this illusion, mirage, you see King Wu. He's not worth describing, really. A man old in years, a beard, authority, eyes that fix on you, a striking resemblance to Prince Wu, who stands at the base of the throne, head bowed, helm on. But despite that, you can see the old blood caked to the side of his head. He looks like a whipped dog. But he doesn't regard his father with timidity or fear or anxiety, just a kind of sallow, sagged defeatedness. A failure in the sag of his shoulders. And you notice a tea table right in front of you as you begin to enter, a low tea table with one place setting for you. And as the attendant slides the door shut behind you, as the wood clangs against wood, King Wu raises his head, looks at you. Ah, so you must be this Litany. What is it that you've been calling yourself, the God-killer?
Daughter of Queen Tigu, the first fallen, Lord of Death, beginning of the end, sovereign on low of the underworld, the Silver Telian.
Oh, yes, well, very impressive. Please, hospitality must be on the forefront of every good ruler's mind. Have a seat. Tita, if you wouldn't mind pouring our guests some tea, would you like green tea, black perhaps? White tea?
I don't want tea.
No tea? But please, you must take a seat. You know, good negotiations historically always happen around a nice cup of tea, even if you don't partake.
Litany takes in this man, this king, this being who has haunted every corner of Twin with his presence, with his power, with his authority, with his choices. And their eyes slide over to Prince Wu.
Prince Wu doesn't meet your gaze at first, but as the silence extends, he raises his eyes, and his eyes, those dark eyes, meet yours. And I want you to tell me, Litany, what emotion does he discern on your face, on the blood from the general still spattering your hand?
Cracked open purpose. Something in the middle of transforming a flower halfway bloomed open inside of them. A heartbeat that is so fresh and new, it still throbs in their veins, in all of their arteries. It is so fresh, it is so violent, it is so bright, it is so glaringly bright. An intensity that has always been there, but never recognized. A knowing, a mirror, like, understanding like.
You are a mirror for him, he is a mirror for you. He has disobeyed his father, and yet he stands. He has failed multiple times, and yet he's still here. And he sees a part of that in you as well. He lifts his head a little bit higher. King Wu notes this. He doesn't like it. Okay, well, if you won't partake, very well. Let's get right to it, shall we? I know why you're here, and I'm willing to give it to you. I have in my possession, as is rightfully mine, as ruler of one of the 5 great earthly kingdoms, the river seal that you seek. I have it on my person right here, and I am willing to give it to you and have my son personally escort you to the Ascension Gate, so that you might do what it is that you have been so loudly proclaiming that you wish to do. My only request in return for this favor is that you leave us be. Let me resolve matters on my own, of my kingdom. You said so yourself, you are daughter of Queen Sigu. These mortal matters are so petty, they need not concern you. I'm sure you have greater destinies to embark upon, a sharper purpose to follow. Just keep following that purpose. That's all you need to do for me to give you this river seal. How about it? Not a bad deal, right?
I would like to use one of my renown moves.
Oh boy, yes.
As a vagabond, as a god killer who has already slain more than one god.
That's true, you have slain many
gods. What god has a hold on him?
It's obvious. You've heard this god's name so many times. You've taken his divine bolt to the heart, the bolt that would have killed any mortal, cultivator or not. You've seen the circlet through Tiansheng's eyes, felt its cold, hard grasp around her head, her soul, as though it were your own. Qianli, the martial god of the southern mountains.
For all that they've chased the river seal, King Wu's offer means very, very little to them, because there is one person missing from this throne room. One very important person who has represented their second chance far more than any cracked piece of gourd. They look at him, and his words are so clearly a lie, so clearly a tyrant's own manipulation of the truth, to help him sleep at night. They look him up and down just once, and then their eyes slide over to Prince Wu. That mirror, that like, recognizing like. And there's just one question they ask. Is this your purpose?
Zida knows the question is for him. King Wu knows the question is not for him. And the prince looks at you. Those eyes, brimming with an emotion you know so well by now, the same emotion you've seen in Rui's face, the same emotion you've seen in Tiansheng's face. That warm, vulnerable, weak, but precious, mortal empathy, desire, hunger, sorrow, feeling. And you know the answer before he even says it. No, this has never been my purpose. This has only ever been my father's purpose. And I know how important my family's traditions are. I know why we hold them. But we cannot be like a straight tree in a storm. We will break. We must bend to the winds of change. We must prioritize what we've lost. The people. That's all that matters. The people.
Then stand up and let us go get our people.
You mean?
And their gaze slides back over to King Wu, and they take a cup of tea from the tea table with that hand still drenched in blood from General Xiong. They take a teacup, knock it all the way back, put it gently back down on the table, and they lean in, they lean forward, they lean toward this breakable mortal man. This man playing at godhood, this man playing at king. You will die. You will die on your throne. But I will not be the one who kills you. No. No, she will be the one that kills you. A leader worth following.
You spit in the face of my hospitality. You threaten me in my seat of power, though I've been nothing but generous toward you. And you bring up her, that traitor, that nothing peasant farm girl from some backwater mountain village.
Watch your fucking mouth! It was a backwater village that made my queen. Queen of the underworld and Lord of Heaven, and you would do well to remember that.
I command you by the power of the mandate. And his eyes flare with the mandate of heaven. It is gold, the same sheen, the same timber as the bolt that pierced your heart, your soul. And it is faltering. It is nothing like Rui's, the embodiment of divinity, the embodiment of orange. It is almost gone. It is fading. And yet he commands it, this last appeal to authority, this last badge he gets to wave around, this last straw, his trump card, his ace. I command you by the order of the mandate. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you have to say. This is my capital, these are my people, and what I say goes. As my father did, as his mother did before him, and as her mother did before her for 11 generations. So stand down, take my offer. I order it by the mandate of heaven.
I do not serve heaven. Zida.
Zida, no. Don't. If there is any spark of that filial son left in you, don't do it. And Zida considers his father with a look of sorrow, and considers you with a look of hope. And you know what he will do before he does it. Everyone in this room does. Everyone in this room does. He goes to his father, reaches into his father's robe and takes out the river seal. and without looking back, he approaches you at the tea table. And to King Wu's credit, with what little remains of that kingly dignity, he does not beg. He does not get on his knees and plead. He knows he is outmatched. He has the mandate, but he is not a cultivator. His general is slain. The enemies are in his walls. This is over. He slumps in his throne, looks at the two of you and says rather feebly, I order, I command. It's not too late. Tida. You disgrace. You failure. But this time, the word failure doesn't sink into Tida like an arrow. In fact, it makes him stand straighter. Gives him focus. He looks at you as he joins you, and without looking over his shoulder, he says, let's go rescue the sage.
Lead the way.
Follow me. And together, you and Prince Wu, no, you and Zida exit the throne room. Zida leads you through the complex of Twins Royal Palace, and as you walk, you are greeted by various guards and servants who at first hands fly to the hilts of their weapons, but they see the prince, who gives them a look. And even though the prince has been disgraced, has been demoted, he is still the prince, and they do not intercede. And as you walk through these winding hallways, through courtyards blooming with orchards, with bridges over babbling brooks, I need you to tell me, Litany, that was unexpected of you. Why are you choosing to help Tiansheng?
The word hasn't come to Litany yet. Not in the forefront of their mind, not yet. But it's there. It's similar to purpose, but the tenor is not quite right. The vibration of it in their throat changes when they think about it. It's choice. It's a choice.
And that's unfamiliar to you, isn't it? You've never quite held it before. All you've ever held is
Purpose.
and blood. One and the same. This choice, does it feel good?
It feels heavy as a heart.
Well, that's the price of it, isn't it?
Maybe. Maybe not.
You and Zida arrive at a prison. There's no one in here except for a single cell at the very end of it, occupied by, you see her slumped form, you know her immediately, the great sage, Tiansheng. You and Zida approach the very end of this cell, and you see Tiansheng hunched over, leaning against a corner. She looks more mortal, smaller, weaker, more breakable than you've ever seen her. Her staff is outside of the cell, hanging up on a post. And you see that circlet around her forehead. It glows bright gold, and it emanates with a kind of magical tenor, almost like a high pitch that only certain animals, beasts, and ghosts can hear. It rings in a kind of way. It feels, it hears, it sounds golden. That's the only way to describe it. And Zida, great sage, in front of the cell, and he starts reaching for the keys.
Get the staff.
Yes, I will.
Litany reaches one hand, wraps them around a handful of bar, and just rips.
I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. I think you are more than strong enough to make that happen. Clang! The entire cell door comes down, and Tiansheng doesn't move. Doesn't even seem to hear you. She's either unconscious or sleeping or just completely drained of power. You do see her chest heaving with a shallow kind of movement as you finally enter the cell.
Cultivator. Cultivator. Tiansheng.
And her eyes blearily look up at you, not drunk anymore. The alcohol has long since flushed from her system through the sweat. Yes, the sweat heavy at her brow. She looks flushed and unfocused and not fully there. You've never seen her like this before. Lie? Is that you?
What is lie?
It's a name I was thinking because litany, it's not right. It's the name of a weapon. But lie. Lie. That's the name of a person. Sorry, I'm not making sense. My head really hurts.
Let me help. And Litany, with that same bloody hand now splintered with metal, reaches out and very gently takes off the circlet.
And as Tiansheng starts to gasp back to herself, the sweat starts to evaporate, color flushes back into her cheeks, strength returns to her form. Litany, you hold this circlet in your hands, this golden circlet brimming with divine power. And in this moment, I would like you to recognize a god.
Understood.
So roll 2d6 and add one for each true statement. You're in or near their domain. Yes, you are. You're familiar with their gospel?
At this point?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Actually, yeah, at this point you are. It'd be bad if you didn't know. Yes, that's a +3 to this roll. Let's do it. Ooh, that is a 6. No, but with a +3, that's a 9. That's a perfect hit, which is really rare for you. Either roll really low or really high. So on a hit, the GM will give you a clear interpretation of the omens. You get to ask me a single follow-up question of your choosing after I give you the interpretation, and I have to answer honestly. Okay, so this is not just a fragment of Tian Li's power, not just some gift that he gives out. In fact, none of the gifts he gives out, the enchanted armor, that soul-killing bolt, are just blessings. He imbues a fragment of himself, which is also the whole, into every single one of these gifts. That's why they're so powerful. That's why those mortals could survive one of your blows even though they were restrained. And that's also his weakness, his downfall. What is your question?
What do I see through his eyes before I break the circlet?
Okay. You drop into the gold. It's a river of it, just rushing gold as though you're swimming through a sunset, or is it a sunrise? Or is there no meaningful difference between those two things after all? When you open your eyes, they are gold, and you see the city of heaven, the realm of the gods. You see Tian Li at the top of a tall, oscillating granite peak, swamped by mist, swamped by clouds, just a river, a sea of pure white. And the city of heaven is a small, almost playground underneath him. That's how tall up he is. And something about being in his mind lets you know where he is. He's in a place called the White Forge, and you can hear a clanging of hammer on anvil behind him. This is one of his favorite stomping grounds. You see him look down. There is a table where you see an array of divine weapons laid out that, yes, the Forge Master of Heaven had specifically picked out and made for him on his request. And he's choosing a new weapon to send down to his armies in Cun. The armies that he has chosen to back, the armies that he must back, else it be a conflict of interest, for him to pitch his favor elsewhere. He doesn't know you are inside of his head, looking through his eyes, but he will know as soon as you leave.
That's fine. Let him know.
Okay.
On Yaolan, in the mortal realm, in this small prison cell, Litany is standing up above Tiansheng, and their eyes are gold, glowing, the eyes of a god stuck into their face that doesn't belong to them. And they're holding that circlet for 1 heartbeat, 2 heartbeats, and then they look down at her, blink, the red comes back into their face, and with one fluid motion, they break the circlet in half, because if Tian Li is anything like King Wu, then his downfall is obvious. He will not bend, he will only break. And Connie, I would like to kill a god.
Oh my god. You remotely fucking detonate his soul. Okay. I mean, all of the parameters are met. When you confront a god in their true form and exploit their downfall to kill them, you have guessed his downfall literally almost exactly perfectly. It's the fact that he won't bend. You won't bend to the winds of change. Describe how you slay them, you just did, and roll 2d6. There are no modifiers to this roll. The outcome is completely up to fate.
9.
That is a
Perfect
9.
hit.
That is a hit. On a hit, they seize something vital from you as well. Name what vital part of yourself you lose when you break it open.
For the very first time in their entire life, in their entire existence, hundreds of years as the God-Killer, destined to slay Longdu the immortal emperor, trained on gods of heaven and demons of the underworld. Every single time they've killed a god, that power flows right through their soul and into their mother, Queen Tsigu. This time, Litany loses their purpose. I want to keep that power for myself.
You know what? Yeah, that happens. That explanation is so badass, it has to happen. Yeah. So regardless of your role, you seize a semblance of their power, and you feel it as Xian Li dies, as your vision sputters, as you see him seize on the top of the white forge, hold his own hands up to his eyes as though they are yours. You see your own hands flicking in and out, as an image superimposed over his, and then his fingertips start to fade into dust. No, into mist. Into fog rolling off the surface of the shattered river, and then you are yourself, and the mist flows into you, the gold comes into you, and you seize his strength. For that is Xian Li's power. Pure martial strength. You feel invigorated. You feel as though you could fell a mountain with a single punch. And you lose your purpose. You were not supposed to hold the powers of gods. They were only ever supposed to go to your mother, to the queen, and now you've taken it? For yourself? You have strayed from the path, Litany.
No.
And the evidence of that is sitting inside you, and it is called gold.
The breath comes so heavy, they're still not used to having to breathe. The heartbeat stutters. It's never done that before. It's always been a steady drum, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Oh, that's hot, that's heavy, that's the weight of disobedience. That's the fear of it. That's no. Oh. One piece of that diadem, that circlet, falls onto the ground, and then the other as Litany breathes. 1, 2, and the thoughts begin to come fast. They know, they can feel it in their soul. They can feel it burning into them, searing them into somebody that they've never been before, searing them into a future they don't understand, searing them into something that they are not supposed to be. They're losing their purpose. No, that's not supposed to be right. They have to stay focused. What about their mother? What about their purpose? What about their meaning?
Hey, are you okay? You did something, didn't you? When he snapped that, I felt it, a breaking of power? Something thrumming in the shattered river.
I killed him.
Xian Li. And the realization of the gravitas of what you've done drips down Tiansheng's face like a single drop of blood falling into an unsullied pond. And then as the blood disperses in that pond, Tiansheng's eyes turn to your shaking hands. She rises from her place. You see Zida helping her to her feet, and Zida passes her staff. Thank you. And hey, let's get out of here, okay? Just look at me, just follow me. Let's get out of here, all right? We'll talk about this later. But right now the rebels need us. Come on, Zida, lead the way. And Zida nods, and the three of you begin rushing out of the prison. Getting out of the city is much easier than getting into it. You, Zida, and Tiansheng are able to surmount the walls, get past the guards, the same way that Zida got past the guards to go to the prison. And soon enough, you find yourself past the walls, moving north toward the way you came, so you can meet the rebels on their way to lay siege to the capital. And as you are hustling, as you're running, making your way across these foothills, you can hear Zida talking plans, immediately jumping into action with a renewed sense of vigor and purpose. And he's saying that the rebels are coming from the north, will likely be riding throughout the night, just like you did, and will very, very likely meet you just as dusk falls. You mounted your one tiger siege of the city at dawn, and the sun is already now rotating toward nightfall. And as this is happening, as you, Zida, and Tiansheng are running north, what's going through your mind? What emotions are flowing through you as you make your ways through the foothills surrounding Chuancheng?
Agony. Agony. They have never made a choice like this. They've never killed a god for themselves. And it is so much heavier than they thought it would be. That purpose broken from them, not just denied, not just a failure, but abandoned. They abandoned their purpose, and it's already time. Their eyes look up at that sun falling, that gorgeous, violent, beautiful sun falling into the sky, and it's happening now. They can feel it. They've been feeling it, this connection to the ghost realm. That's why they were able to call the Dao Show so easily. It happens tonight, and they have turned their back on everything they're supposed to be. Who am I without this? Who am I supposed to be without this? I can't. I have to make this right. I have to make this right. This is the only way. This is a story about redemption.
This is not a story about redemption.
This is a story about me killing the god I was made to kill. That's how it goes. That's how it's supposed to go.
This is not a story about killing gods.
Yes, it is.
This is a story about one thing and one thing only.
Bullshit! Bullshit.
An omen. A signpost. It rises to the east. The Ascension Gate. It's just outside of the walls of the capital. You hadn't seen it from your perspective riding through the night, but the light illuminates it. Just like the Ascension Gate of the underworld, it is a paifang, a freestanding gate, but this one has pillars of granite struck through with veins of amethyst. Just like the amethyst chain. This must be the Ascension Gate that Tiansheng reached the city of heaven through.
Whitney slows. Their feet stop moving.
Zida doesn't notice for a few moments. Tiansheng notices immediately. She stops between the two of you as Zida takes a few more paces forward, turns to look at you, eyes crinkled in concern. Litany? Lai? Are you hurt? You're slowing down. Why? What's wrong?
I have to go.
Go? Yeah, we're headed to the rebels right now. Come on, it's this direction.
No. I have to go to the city of heaven.
The Ascension Gate. Right, yes, of course. We can do that as soon as
No.
we meet the...
Now. Before I stray too much farther from my path, now I go.
Now? But the rebels, the cause, the winds of change.
I don't care about it. I don't care about the winds of change.
But we need you. We could really use you. I could really use you. Lie. Listen, I know this purpose is so important to you. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your soul. But your soul is cracking open.
No, it can't. It can't crack open. I must. You must take me there, you promised.
I did, and I keep my word, and I will. But
You will now. I've already strayed far enough. You cannot make me go any farther. I will be nothing without her. You don't need me. She does.
Lie. Why she doesn't love
That's
you.
not my name! I do not have a name. I am a weapon. I am Litany, daughter of Queen Sigu, the first fallen. The beginning of the end, the Lord of Death, sovereign on low of the underworld, the silver Celian. That's who I am. I am not a mortal. I am not a rebel. I am a vessel, and I have strayed and I have broken.
Those cracks are sealing up.
They were never meant to be opened.
Okay. I'll take you. Zeta, go. I'll catch up. Come on. It's this way. Zeta says nothing. Observes the conversation, lets you talk. Nods. And goes. And you follow Tiansheng. Her a step ahead, you a half step behind. You follow her in silence all the way to the Ascension Gate, though you are not but a half step behind the river seal this entire time. It feels as though the distance between you is wider than the Crimson River, is wider than the gap between heaven and cradle, is wider than the gap between ghost and mortal, is wider than the gap between you and who you could have been.
There's no other choice.
Maybe. Maybe not. You reach the Ascension Gate. It is grand, majestic, more divine than that throne room with a man playing God. You take all of this in. It means nothing to you. It means everything to you. Tiansheng steps forward. Wordlessly, she reaches into her robe and pulls out the river seal that Zeta had handed to her. And as she lifts it up to those pillars, supporting that tiered set of tiles, you feel the magic begin to flow through her, the magic of the mist, the magic of the river. And a blanket of fog opens between those two pillars, just like they did in the underworld. And wordlessly, Tiansheng extends a hand toward you.
And wordlessly, Litany lets their cold fingers fall into hers.
And before you leave, the last words you hear her say are, "I hope you find what you're looking for, Litany, vessel of hatred, daughter of Queen Siu."
Litany does not look back at the home they could have had, at the home they wanted, at the home that has been closer to their heart than any other space they've ever occupied. They ascend. This is how my story is supposed to go.
The story is in your hands now. It always has been. I am merely a witness. a narrator, someone who has walked the path before and knows where it leads.
Then let's play the game.
One last time. One more round.
You're on.
Litany. The story ends as it began, with hatred plunging through the heart of a god.
Thank you so much for tuning in to GODKILLER Last Hope. If you've been enjoying this series, please consider joining Transplanter's Patreon at patreon.com/transplanterrpg. It's the best way to support us for as little as $3 a month, so we can continue bringing great performances like this one. If you can't spare the funds, please consider leaving a positive review or comment, posting about us on social media, or sharing the show with a friend that you think will enjoy us. Thanks to the support of our audience, we are continually able to do this awesome work. And you can purchase the ashcan of GODKILLER RPG on itch.io/by-Connie-Chong. The games for release will be published through Evil Hat Productions in 2025. And as always, our sponsors for this series are Frivolous Bear Studios and Hero Forge. Thank you for helping us create these powerful stories. And with that, our game comes to a close for now. We'll see you next time, right here on Transplanter RPG. Welcome to Godkiller Last Hope. My name is Zoe Williams, and as the dramaturg for this production, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the viciously divine world of The Cradle. Last Hope is a dark fantasy series that deals with heavy topics, and content warnings will be shared before the show begins. Last Hope is performed live and in studio by Connie Chong and C. Thomas. Previously on Godkiller Last Hope, Litany confronts King Wu and rejects his offer to take the River Seal. Together with Prince Wu, Litany takes the River Seal from King Wu and frees Xiangsheng from the palace dungeon. Litany destroys the magical circlet binding Tiansheng, but in the process, they kill Jiangli, the patron god of Qin. For the first time in Litany's life, a god's power enters their soul instead of being siphoned to Queen Tigu. Litany's guilt becomes overwhelming. At the very last moments of their escape from the capital, Litany turns their back on Tiansheng and forces her to take them to the Ascension Gate. Litany abandons the rebels and their mortal heart, ascending to the city of heaven to kill Emperor Longdu once and for all. A full recap of this and previous episodes can be found on transplanterrpg.com. And now, the last game begins.
Godkiller Last Hope is a dark fantasy actual play series that deals with serious and potentially triggering topics. Viewer discretion is advised. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, war, trauma, grief, interpersonal conflict, familial conflict with a physical confrontation, death of loved ones, blood, and brief mentions of a suicide mission and spitting.
Litany. Vessel of hatred. Child of Queen Tigu. Godkiller. Your drive, your purpose is so strong that it crystallizes into the shattered river itself. You feel it in your ascension, and you know exactly where you will appear. And so you do. In the middle of the hall of peerless destiny, immaculate wooden floorboards shining like a lighting up path toward your destiny. And there you see her, your purpose, your destiny. At the end of this throne room, the immortal Emperor Longdu, devourer of the devouring, grand adjudicator of the game, sovereign on high of Yaolan, the amethyst dragon. She sits upon that sandalwood throne, upon that raised dais surrounded by a moat of molten amethyst jade. The pillars here are also made of purple jade. The ceiling is endless. Now this is a throne room. It is exactly as you remember. It is nothing like you remember because you are perfectly the same and perfectly different. You again. You've come back. I had a feeling you would. I could sense it inside my soul. Though I killed you, you did not die. Just like your mother. You are her daughter, are you not?
I am her vessel of hatred.
You are her creation. And I know your name. Because I, too, bore it once. Because I, now, bear it still. It is my burden to carry until oblivion and salvation calls me home. Godkiller. Do you know what that title means?
Of course I do.
The epithet wears strangely on your face. You are conflicted.
I'm not. I am resolute. Some may mistake it for ruthlessness, but I know its true name. Absolution.
Absolution. And the immortal emperor reaches to the sword. Strapped to their hip, they pull it out of its hilt and reveals a blade of pure tempered diamond. Absolution. You remember how it felt when it slipped between your ribs and severed soul from limb. But it did not. Not exactly.
I know no pain. None that you could inflict upon me.
And you show no mercy. You are your mother's daughter in so many ways, and yet you are also something untempered, unformed, still becoming.
You know nothing of me. You know nothing of me.
I know nothing of you, and I know everything of you, because I am you, I was you. And you are me, you shall be me. I am Long Xie Feng, the first God Killer. And you are Litany, the second.
Not yet. Not yet. Not until I kill you, not until you die.
I see violence is still the only language you understand. It is your mother tongue, after all. She gifted it to you. So come, test your steel against mine, and let me tell you a story. And the Emperor moves faster than the mortal eye can track. And the two of you meet in the center of the hall, and your weapons clash. How do you try to attack her?
In the only way they know how. Brute fucking force.
I need you to inflict violence. So roll 2d6 and add 1 for each true statement. They wish you harm. No. You're desperate?
Yes.
It's personal?
Yes.
Roll 2d6 plus 2, please. That's a 9. That's perfect. On a hit, 7 to 9, this part of the fight ends on your terms. So, what part of the fight is this, Litany?
This is the redemption. This is the proving grounds. This is their name. The name of a weapon. This is where they show Longdu, the immortal emperor, devourer of the devouring grand adjudicator of the game, sovereign on high of Yaolan, the amethyst dragon, exactly who they are, exactly what they were made to do, that they know her every weakness, her every move. They have been waiting for this moment for 100 years. They would wait 100 more. They would wait 1,000 more. They would wait as long as it takes. Anything for this moment. It's what they need to do. Anything for this moment.
And you do it, you prove yourself. In some ways, you grasp this redemption you seek, but in every other way that counts, you do not. Still, I'll abide by the terms of the game. This part of the fight ends on your terms. The claws come out. What is the sound they make?
A scream.
And the scream clangs against absolution. The two weapons collide and send shock waves from the place where they meet, and you go at her. You are a revenant. You are a hungry ghost. You are everything Sui Xian made you into, and so much more than they could ever fathom. You are your mother's daughter. And in this moment, you do not fail. Your form is perfect. You are completely focused. And there's something else too. Something that Longdu remarks upon as she parries your every blow, as she takes what would have been a mortal fatal wound and redirects it back toward yourself and outward, sending a slice of magic to the side of the hall and rupturing the amethyst from a pillar. And she speaks. Once upon a time, I was mortal too. I went by the name of Long Xie Feng.
I don't care!
And I had a sister. She was everything to me, and I was nothing to her, and I was everything to her. She loved me.
She did not!
She protected me with her every breath. She loved me more than life itself.
You betrayed her!
I tried to save her. I gave her every opportunity to turn her face away from the path of hatred. And she did not. She was to be queen of the devouring, to doom the sister realms. Until we had nothing left to speak of but ash and blood and fire and death. I begged, I pleaded, I got on my knees and I wept to my stronger twin, my better half. The woman, the girl who had always protected me with her strength, had always put me first. I begged her, I kissed her feet.
No, you betrayed her!
She refused. She wanted greatness. That was the only thing she could see. That was the only thing she could grasp, could taste. And yet, even as she gained divinity, even as she achieved apotheosis, she let go of the one thing that still kept her tethered to me. her mortal heart. And she slides the blade across and knocks your claw to the side and tips the tip of it against your chest. Against that old wound, 100 years old, where absolution had pierced it a century ago in this hall. And she pauses, draws just a bead of blood that blooms like a crimson flower and dribbles down your torso. But you understand that my sister has forgotten, don't you? That's why you could do it. You could kill me here. You have it in you. You can grasp my weakness, my mortal heart. That's why you failed the last time you did not understand what it meant to be a person and not a weapon. But now you do. Why? Why? Why?
Stop talking!
Speak!
Because I'm just like you. I turned my back on her. I betrayed her. I left her for my destiny, for my purpose.
And Longdu looks at you, really looks, with those dark eyes as dark as a stormy sea, as dark as the void between stars, just like her hair. It is an uncomfortable feeling being seen to the core of your very being. It is vulnerable. It makes you feel weak.
So you have to understand. You have to understand why I have to do this. Because I've already come so far. I have to finish this. Or else what am I?
You are one thing, and one thing only. You are not the witch. You are not the monster. You are not the lamb at the altar. You are not the pretty thing in a cage. You are not a vessel. You are not a weapon. You are the God-Killer. And the gods themselves will taste your steel. The choice is yours. You were made for a purpose, but who you become is something you decide, and nothing and no one can ever take that from you. You were made to kill me, to bring destruction to the sister realms, to place my sister upon the throne. But maybe you can choose something else. I had to break the world to save it. But perhaps your purpose can be to mend it. It's what your mortal heart weeps for, is it not? To mend the sister realms? For her? For you?
A violent, beautiful. It's so beautiful. The way that their soul blooms open. The way that that black rock opens up, those cracks, not cracks at all, but petals of a flower that opens to reveal a red beating heart. Oh, the truth of it. They want it so bad.
You can have it. All you have to do is reach out and take it. We have been given this power. It is not the power that makes us who we are, it is what we do with it. And Litany, on the cusp of everything, on this crystallized purpose cracked open like a falling star, you sense her arrival. A swirl of blood, a fountain of iron, the cold echo of darkness, a whispering of mist, an explosion of hatred so vile it could rot winter. And she's here. Your mother, Queen Ti-gu, the first fallen, Lord of Death, sovereign on low of the underworld, the Silver Ti-lian. She looks exactly like her twin and nothing like her whatsoever. Where there is sorrow on Longdu's face, there is nothing but hatred and vengeance. Where there is softness in Longdu's words, there is nothing but the cold tempered edge of steel and resolution. The three tenets carved into the place where her heart is punctured through, still with the top half, the stronger half, the better half of that broken blade she now draws, and it comes out with a scream louder than the heavens themselves as judgment comes out to meet absolution. Longdu tips absolution away from you, looks above you, beyond you, as you are knelt, kneeling in supplication of your mother, and sees her twin. And Ti-gu says, with such deep bitterness it could tear the sun itself from the horizon, Long Xie Feng.
My queen! Mother, please! And Litany throws themselves onto the ground in front of her. Their knees crack against the ground, against that beautiful wood underneath them. And their hands immediately clasped in prayer in front of their face. Mother, please, please leave, please, no. I can do this. I'm going to do this for you. I'm here. Go, please, while you can. I can fix this. I can do this for you. Please, please.
And the words that come out of her mouth are not tinged with hatred for you. They are not tinged with anger. They are not tinged with bitterness or disappointment. They are simply blank. A command, like one might issue someone who has only ever just obeyed. Move. Get out of my way. This is my becoming.
Please. Please, I meant to do this for you. You don't have to do this. I can do it.
Her eyes slide right past you mid-plea, and she walks
I can do it.
past you
I can do this.
as though you
Please,
don't
no, you don't have to
exist,
do this.
blocking you
Just stay.
from her view,
I want you to stay.
from her mind.
I want to stay
She
with
can't hear you.
I need to do
She
this
doesn't
for you,
care.
Please. It's supposed to. It's
She
everything
is
I meant to be.
incapable of hearing you. And she looks at her sister, and her sister looks back at her. And Longdu says, for the infinite time, and the last time, and the first time, it doesn't have to be this way, sister. We can do something different, something new. And Ti-gu, this is my last hope! And she charges, and the two sisters meet. Their clashing is heaven and hell colliding. It is violence on a scale unimaginable by mortal, no, by divine minds. Only a precept of reality itself could possibly fathom what's happening, could possibly track their movements. They move in such a way that time ceases to matter. You can't even see them moving around you, a blur of amethyst, a blur of silver, crimson meeting purple, red meeting gold, against each other. And then they no longer even look like people anymore. You see Longdu as who she is, an amethyst dragon, massive, as tall as the world itself, with jaws of pure steel and purple flame erupting from her jaw. And you see your mother, Tigu, as who she truly is, a silver Telian with antlers sprouting from a lion-like face and fur rippling outward, ending in sharp prickled quills, scales of pure moonlight. Clash, 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 clang. And as the battle goes on without you,
I would like to do as I'm told.
very well. When you do as you're told, say how you show submission and answer 1. I will show you a glimpse of their true intentions as I answer the other. So the 2 questions are, how are you rewarded, and what vulnerability do you reveal?
Litany moves. They get out of her way. Because they don't know who they are. No. Not because they don't know who they are. Because they've betrayed their mortal heart. And they know it. They have failed. They thought they knew what failure was before. They thought they understood its sting, its viciousness, its teeth. No. This failure lives in the ribs. This failure is entirely mortal.
And you have never felt closer to Tiansheng. You have never felt closer to Zide. You have never felt closer to Rui.
Why am I thinking about them?
Because they matter. Because they matter to you. Because they are the only thing that matters in this moment. And this is how you are rewarded, Godkiller. You receive an opportunity. An opening of fate. Because your mother, in this moment, this is her last hope. With every strike she deals against her sister, the Emperor, you can feel the call of the river growing stronger and stronger around her. It's not that she's weak, it's that oblivion is more powerful even than the gods themselves, even than the immortal Emperor, even than the Silver Telian. But with every strike, she burns brighter and brighter and brighter, like a candle's final explosion before the wick gives. And you know in this moment exactly what is going to happen, exactly what she is going to do. She is going to kill her sister. And herself with it. And finally, with a motion that you can track, you see judgment flash out, the shattered edge of it, catching in the light of the city of heaven, and then it goes forward. This is the opportunity I would like to give to you as part of your reward. In the split second before soul severs from body, for the immortal Emperor Longdu, what would you like to do?
I'd like to change the game. I'd like to manifest a miracle.
Okay, that is a crucible move we have not yet used. When you want to manifest a miracle, sacrifice a power. Describe how you channel that power into the world to its fullest potential, and then erase it from your sheet. You can never use it again.
That's okay. I won't need it after this. Strength is what stops Tigu's blade. Litany catches it with one hand. The jagged edge bites their hand, drawing blood, and they don't waver. They don't waver at all. It is the strength of every mortal who has ever lived. It is the strength of 1,000 gods, 100 gods, 1,000,000 gods, all of divinity. It lives in them. And they are so small against it. And it is so entirely consuming inside of them. But they hold on. They hold on.
Get out of my way!
I can't.
Then I will make you. That is an order, Litany. Move! I told you this was my becoming.
This is my becoming! This is my purpose! Please. Please.
If I have to cut you down to kill her, then so be it.
And the blade comes out, it slices your palm. As it does, there is a slash of crimson, and your mother comes at you. How do you defend yourself?
I show mercy. I know pain. And I do not kill her.
Why? Why do you spare your mother?
Because I am her. Because I love her. Because I want to live. And I've never done it before. And I want to see what it's like to be mortal.
Roll 2d6 for me, please. And let's let the fates decide.
Six.
A 6.
7. I can't do math when I'm crying.
A 7. That is a hit. So, on a 7 to 9, they perform a single favor of your choosing, such as lifting a curse or performing a miracle. Litany, in this moment, tell me where your weapons are positioned against her.
Against is the wrong word. Their hands are in her heart. In her chest. And the miracle that I would like, the favor I would like, is very simple. I just want to talk to her.
Your hands are in her heart. You can feel it. It's a divine heart. It's not like her sister's. And the blood that drips around your wrist is not red like a mortal's, but silver. For the silver Tilian, silver like bone, silver like the river, silver like mist, silver like her rage. Silver like the blade you can feel lodged in her heart. And just like how you stopped judgment from coming down against Longdu, you wrap your fingers around that blade and you let yourself bleed against your mother's pain. And in this moment, Tsigu knows what you have done. She understands the sparing. She understands the mercy. She understands the give. And the anger, the incandescent rage, the thousands-year-old fury that has tethered her to existence cracks. And underneath the rage, you understand what the true emotion is. It was the same emotion on Sui Xin's face, on Zida's face, on Rui's face, on Tiansheng's face. It is grief, sorrow, pain. Your mother is a wounded animal. She has been wounded for so many hundreds of years, to the extent that this wound is all she knows. It is what's keeping her alive. It is the only metric of identity she can measure herself against, and measure others, like yourself, against as well. She is a child of pain, and you are a weapon of her creation. And your mother says, as the anger cracks and the sorrow is revealed, with a face, with a voice she has never shared with you, with anyone except Long Xie Feng lifetimes ago when they were both mortal peasant girls running through a field. She says, "What have you done to me?"
You cannot be tethered here because of your rage. Please. I want to feel other things. I want to feel the sun and the wind. I want to feel empathy and love. You cannot do this. This is what I was made for. This is the only thing I understand. Then why am I like this? I am made of you! If I am made of your rib, if I am made of your blood, if I am made from the shard that cuts my hand now, then why am I broken? Why do I stray from my purpose so easily? It's because you made me. It's because we can. What if we could? No. No. Bullshit. That's not how the story goes. Bullshit. This is my story. No. This is our story. Some people think that the line from beginning to end is ruthlessness, but I know what it really is. Vengeance. 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 You were made to avenge me. I was made, and the river starts to thicken around her, as for the first time since she was killed but did not die, your mother wavers. She wavers in her purpose. I was made. Vengeance? No. But we can hold on to something else. You can hold on to something else. You don't need to hold on to that. I want to stay with you. I want you to stay. You can tether yourself to me. You. Me. You can tether yourself to me, and I can prove myself to you in a way that I never thought possible. Please, I can save you. With what fury connects me to you? I have no vengeance against you. I am made of you. Then what? What is it you propose that I latch onto you with, then, Litany? What emotion? What feeling?
What mortality I have already long forgotten. What is its name?
Its name is love.
A look over her shoulder at her sister. The mist thickens. Your hand still buried in her chest. And for the first time since you were made, Sigu, your mother, reaches a shaking hand toward your face as she strains away from vengeance and hatred and fury and toward love. And when her fingers meet you, they turn into mist. For she tries, Litany. You know the truth of this. She tries, she truly does. But the call of the river is too strong, even empowered by the Ghost Festival. And the blade that tethers her here, the vengeance, the wound, that is all she has ever known for hundreds of years, for thousands of years. The love sparks, but it cannot sustain. And the wick goes out. Your mother disperses into mist. And all that remains, clattering to the ground, is judgment and its shattered piece, the upper half of it, the better half of it. And Longdu says from behind you, in a voice that is the weight of 10,000 years of sorrow, she didn't choose me when she had the chance. And when she chose you, it was too late. But it is not too late for you, Godkiller, to make the choices that can still matter. As Longdu speaks, you feel it, the semblance of your mother's power flowing into you. The wisps of mist that she became, wrapping themselves around you in silver strings and sinking into your soul. You know her power well. You've wielded an echo of it, and you've seen the power resonating within Longdu both times you clashed with the immortal emperor. It is the power over life and death. Necromancy. It is the only fragment of your mother that remains within you.
Longdu, immortal emperor, devourer of the devouring, grand adjudicator of the game, sovereign on high of Yaolan, amethyst dragon. I was made to kill you. And one day I might. Still. But today I'm making a different choice.
There are people who need you. And finally, she sheaths her blade, reaches into a fold of her robe, and produces her river seal. Just like your mother's had been, a large shard of a gourd you've never laid your eyes upon, but you can tell that the edges were once gilded. And she says, it's time for you to go back to them. Quick and fast, with the winds of change at your back. For I have a sister to mourn, and a soul to bury. We both do. Like, recognizing like. And there is a flash of light, and you understand the Ascension Gate of heaven. It is not any one location, it is her. And she sends you back down to the cradle. Litany, you reappear in the middle of a melee. Longdu is not there. And your mother is not there. The people who are there, however, are the rebels. In the middle of Chuancheng, you see Rui leading the charge, fighting amongst her people, as a good leader should. Her face resplendent, glowing, divine, with the mandate of heaven. You also see Wu Ji De leading a contingent of rebels, barking orders and suggestions about how best to maneuver against the martial flankings he knows so well from his father's army. And finally, you see a hurricane, a typhoon, a windstorm, a mountain in her own right. Tiansheng, from your position, at the very front of the gates, she is surrounded by guards. Their armor no longer magically empowered by Qianli. Very easy for her to incapacitate with a single tap of the end of volition. And you see her face. She is fighting with perfect focus. But there is strain in her brow. There is pain. There is regret. And you know why. None of your allies, none of your friends see you yet as you arrive in a swirl of mist. And when the mist laces up to the sky, the heavens themselves, the river itself, reality itself, shatters open across the horizon for just a split second as the death of Queen Qigu rings across the sister realms. And in this almost dawn, the sky brimming with fading stars, the rosy tints starting to kiss the horizon, you see a constellation of silver burst across the domes of heaven, and they form the outline of a silver Qilian before it too flickers out of existence. And when your eyes come back down, I want you to tell me, what do you do? I do what I do best. I fight. With purpose. With my purpose. This is my becoming. I tap them. You tap them. And Litany, 3 hours later,
the battle comes to its conclusion. The conclusion that you help make into reality. We find you now standing in the courtyard outside the throne room. There is still blood on the lilies. You can smell smoke. You can hear some shouting, celebratory shouting mostly, logistical shouting to organize the city for anticipated sieges of the king's loyalists returning. The throne has been taken, the capital has been taken, but the work is not done. The work is never done. As long as there are mortals, there will always be work. The work you decide to tithe your choices to. Rui and Zide and Tiansheng are all in the throne room, handling the terms of surrender with King Wu. You're alone. What are you doing?
Watching the sun. Trying to find the trace of silver in the sky. Trying to put it back through their memory alone. Trying to listen to their heartbeat. Mourning. They're mourning. Not just their mother. Sui Xin too. And it's quiet. The way they like. And a brief thought crosses their mind. They kind of wish it was raining.
You hear footsteps, and then the throne room door sliding open just a crack, and then more footsteps approaching you as the voices of Zide and Rui cut in for a second and then fade when the door closes once more. And you don't hear Zide, and you don't hear Rui anymore for a few more minutes after that, because you are focused on the clear voice that comes next from that set of footprints. Hey. Black eyes, dark hair, a wolfish grin, wavering but there. Volition. Those scars across her chest. It's good to see you.
Hello, cultivator.
Hello, GODKILLER. Thank you for coming back, Lai. Your soul, it's different. Does it feel different?
It feels different. Tension. Thank you for waiting.
Of course. I'm a cultivator. I can wait for 100 years. 200. Forever.
Shouldn't you be in there? They look back at those doors and the shifting lines of power behind them. Isn't that your moment? Your purpose? Shouldn't you be there?
No. This is my moment. This is my purpose.
Will you wait with me?
Until the end. And after that, too. This is not a story about killing gods. Though you will.
By choice. By my own hand.
This is not a story about redemption. Though you shall find it.
For myself. In a way that sings against my soul.
This is not a story about mending a broken world. Though you will come to do so one day. You will come to mend the sister realms, Litany.
But first I needed to mend myself.
Maybe. Maybe not. This is a story about you, Litany, the God-Killer, and your mortal heart. Well done, God-Killer.
This is my becoming.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the final episode of God-Killer Last Hope. My name is Connie Chong, and I've had the pleasure of playing your god.
And my name is C. Thomas, your God-Killer Litany. If you've enjoyed the series, please consider pledging to our Patreon at patreon.com/transplanterrpg. It's the best way to support us directly so we can continue to make work like this. If you can't spare the funds, please consider leaving us a positive review or commenting on social media or sharing the show with a friend. It really helps us continue to make the work that we do.
You can purchase the Ashcan of God-Killer RPG on itch.io/byconniechong. The full game will be published by Evil Hat Productions in 2025. To get the latest updates on God-Killer, follow Evil Hat Productions newsletter in the link below. Our sponsors for this campaign are Hero Forge and Frivolous Bear Studios. And with that, our story comes to a close. For now.
We'll see you next time, right here on Transplanter RPG.
Scene. Ooh, and that's
Cutting?
show. Yeah.
Cutting?
Cutting. Woo! We did it! Let's go! Yes!
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. What a series. What a series. We did that, huh?
Yeah.
We did that.
We did do that, didn't we?
Oh my god.
I started sobbing
my
again.
lord.
I was looking at
Yeah, no, I like cried a little. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
During like the mom, all the stuff about your mother's a wounded animal. Oh my god. Yeah, wow. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, for celebrating Godkiller with us, and of course, for helping us raise money for Care for Gaza. I think we raised, my
We're at
goodness, what are we at?
$1,180, which is
Oh my
amazing.
god. That is amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so much. That is so much money. That your generosity truly means the world to us. Thank you for all of your support. We are going to be back tomorrow. We're going to keep the love going tomorrow, Saturday, June 28th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time with a very special Godkiller world building playtest. That's right. I'm going to be taking some members of our cast through a never before seen multiplayer world building session to celebrate Transplanter's official 5-year anniversary. It was today, but tomorrow is when we're actually celebrating like 5 years of Transplanter. You really don't want to miss this one. Like I'm going to be showcasing some like brand new mechanics, like playtest ready mechanics, multiplayer mechanics, world building mechanics. If that's interesting to you, and if you want to get a sneak peek of some brand new origins and covenants, tomorrow is the time.
Your day.
And Transplanter is
your
the
day.
place to be. Yes, it is. It is literally your day, and I'm very excited about this.
Yay! Oh, last hope. Oh, new Godkiller. New Godkiller world building / wait, what am I trying to say? Season 2. Sorry. Just like in the actual recording, I gotta just take a second before we continue our outro announcements. Just like the actual recording, I'm so shocked that I have nothing left to say inside my little body. I just cry and snort. And I say, this is my becoming, and I walk off. Also, here's a trivia fact. I can't believe we did that whole episode in one take. Like,
Yeah.
That was one take.
Yeah, that was one take. Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, we didn't retake any part of it. Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
That's a really good episode.
Yeah, it is. It's a really great episode. Yeah, because some of the other episodes we had like a few retakes here and there, like for scenes that I was like, oh, I feel like that could have flowed smoother. But that one,
Yep.
One take.
Yep.
Oh
my god, which is wild. My one regret is I have one more little line that I wish that Litany said that didn't come out.
It
was to Tian Sheng, because I realized in episode 7, because we see it tonight, she's like, she doesn't love you, Lai. And I wanted Litany to tell Tian Sheng that she tried, and it matters that she tried.
Aw. Well, I know it in my heart, and
I know
in
it in my heart.
In season 2, we can reference that. Yeah.
In the meantime, while we wait for season 2, and while we wait for Godkiller world building playtesting tomorrow, this is also the last week for you to submit your fan works to our anniversary scene. We are releasing a series of themed prompts for anyone looking for inspiration or a challenge. Technically, sorry, I'm still like sobbing. Our last prompt came out today, which is awesome. So go check it out on our Patreon, Discord, or social media channels to find it. And please, if you haven't already, please consider submitting any and all of your old fan works that you've made through our 5 years of being Live's channel, and use !zine in the chat to share your art, illustrations, crafts, writing, cosplays, games, actual plays, creative endeavors of any kind to celebrate 5 years of Transplanter RPG.
Yeah.
Zine,
oh my goodness.
Zine.
We love chanting Z words.
Yeah.
We?
Zine.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to our marathon rerun of Last Hope. Oh my goodness, we're done with that. Wow, it was truly such a joy to return to the viciously divine world of the Sister Realms together. And if you enjoyed the series, if you enjoyed this rewatch, please consider leaving a positive review on our podcast, specifically on Apple Podcasts. That is really huge, actually. Or a comment on our YouTube VODs. It really helps us continue to build momentum for Last Hope Season 2? Last Hope Season 2? Yes. A comment today helps me secure pay. So
A comment a day helps secure pay for season 2.
Yeah, for season 2 of Last Hope.
To last to
we
hope.
will-
That's so correct.
Sorry. You're so funny. To last.
That was in the chat. That was really funny.
Last Hope Part 2. The lastest hope.
The second to
Last
last hope.
The final hope. The final wish. We will see you tomorrow for our world building playtest. Woo! Same time, same place. But in the meantime, journey well. We're going to be raiding someone really awesome right now, no doubt. Use the raid message in chat. If you're on the YouTube, hop on over to our Twitch to keep the love train going. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Thank you all so much for the donos, for showing up, for your comments, for, your presence. It is truly a gift.
Tears.
And an honor and a privilege. And your tears. They nourish me. Nom, 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 nom. All right. We love you and journey well, Transplay Nerds.
Journey well.